Hello, welcome back to Red World, and we have a civil war on our hands, and I looked up this guy, Sam Webb, whom I didn't know much about, and I still don't know much about, because all I could find was stuff about him on Wikipedia and such. But he was apparently the leader of the Communist Party in the United States until 2016, where, interestingly enough, he renounced his allegiance to the Communist Party in 2015. He left the party, and he argued for the party's liquidation. And then, in 2016, he backed Hillary Clinton in the election and joined the Democratic Party, which is not a thing you would expect a communist to do. And then he and also he condemned Bernie Sanders for splitting the unity of the Democratic Party, which is also very interesting, I would say, at least. But we're now going to kick his ass. So, let's grab all of our Commonwealth Corps troops, who quite possibly are in different parts of the country. Yes, they are in disparate parts of the country, which is annoying, which means we should probably actually split them up. And this might actually serve as a very useful distinction. Like we could make, let's see, this gives us like a logical reason for these guys to be split. So now we have the Northeastern Commonwealth Corps and the Western Commonwealth Corps. So the Northeast Corps, which consists of troops from New York, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Maine, and then you have the Western ones consisting of troops from Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan. You could call this the New England Corps and this the Midwest Corps, for example. Let's do. Oh, actually, no. Let's not call it the New England Corps, because that has like a distinctly colonialist flair to it, I think. But let's call these guys the Midwest Corps. And we need to put you in the Northeast Corps. So now we have the Midwest and the Northeast Corps, each numbering 10 divisions. Let's pop them all on the border. And, of course, we've got this little annoying bit here, which we can easily fix by taking these motorized and splitting them off to their own unit. They will be the Northeast motorized. And they will be, or these will be the, let's see, we'll actually split these in multiple units. This will be the first People's Motorized, we'll call them that still. Wish I had more division icons, but the mod does not seem compatible with this one. Again, if anyone knows of any good division icon mods that are compatible with Red World, I would, like division and theater icon mods, I would happily use them. I'd say this is the first one, and then we also have these guys over here who are split off, who we will put into their own unit, which is the third. So we will send the third to, let's see, we want someone aggressive, of course, and logistically capable. And then we want another aggressive and logistically capable person. Let's grab Edwin T. Brooks. Brooks? Yeah, Brooks, not Brooks. The color here will be... Do we have any red ones? Yes, we do. The color here will be green. So we got red, blue, white, green, and you will be yellow. That should make it easier to tell them apart at a glance. Of course, they all have these disgusting colors right now because of the Civil War. Like, you have like a tiny little bit of white there, and then mostly blue, which I'm not a big fan of that. So, national focus, what can we do now? It's still a continuation of this. May the best win, which grants division organization, division recovery rate, division attack, division defense down. Trade Council fighters, which gives a national spirit for a recruitable population. That's not an immediate concern. We have 759,000 troops, so we won't go for that one immediately. And that is also not an immediate concern, because Research bonus for infantry weapons is only going to be relevant whenever we can actually manufacture those infantry weapons, and that manufacturing probably will not happen during the Civil War. It's at least not something for us to count on. So, Midwest motorized, we will try to, let's see, find the most important victory points, or actually no, I think we will create a fighting line through Toledo and Cleveland and try to merge the fronts so that we can shift troops between them. I don't think pushing... So one option is to push down towards, like, through Cincinnati and then try to hold this river, which I don't know which river this is that splits at Pittsburgh. I know scarcely little about rivers in the US, and I wish they would just label them in the game. That would be so good. But we'll try to push, I think, through here to unite the fronts. We could again do like a cutoff here and try to create a pocket, but that might be a bit too ambitious because we don't really have the troops to hold any of these fronts at all. Like, that does not exist unless we get event spawn troops. That's not going to happen. So I don't think a pocket is actually realistically going to be feasible. I think we need to start focusing on victory points and start focusing on, like, I don't know, limiting the enemy front, I think, or like limiting the front as much as possible. And the way of doing that is to push, let's see, is essentially push like this. That limits the front to these 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles here. 5, 6 if you include these. Okay, we will remove that because that's not going to be relevant at all. Same with this, we don't want anyone on... Is this Lake Michigan? Is this Lake Michigan? Is this Lake Michigan? God damn it. We don't want anyone on this lake. It's completely unnecessary. You guys, let's let's get everyone on the line down towards Baltimore. And I think we're going to focus on Baltimore. Rather intently. And we will send the motorized specifically to take New Jersey. These motorized, we could send them immediately towards Baltimore, because I don't see anyone in Baltimore, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the greatest strat. We might want to send them to meet up with the motorized over here. Midwest motorized, just go towards Ann Arbor. And let's unpause. I noticed I may have ruffled some feathers in a past episode. Now, people might tell you, don't get discouraged by negative feedback or responses, and I'm not. Some might say don't read them, which I completely disagree with, of course. I read all comments and listen to all feedback, even negative stuff. And noticed, because it is interesting, sometimes when I talk about controversial topics, I do see... okay, there we go. We've got troops on the front line. I do see the like-dislike ratio is different from sort of non-controversial, very milquetoast videos where I just comment on the game and try to shy away from talking about history, which is unfortunate because this is a history game. But what I wanted to say is that I don't know exactly what made some people upset, because I noticed, like, oh god, that's bad. Newark. We can actually cut them off, probably. They seem to have one division there, one infantry as well. And, well, actually, no, it looked like motorized, but then we lost intel. What I think we could do here, because, yeah, they looked like motorized when we moved out of Edison. What we could do here is, since we have 2 motorized, is we can actually try to cut them off. But, I don't know exactly what it was, but I think it might have been the school thing, the reform, maybe, or it could have been the guys, or the kids who killed the quote-unquote fascist, which I did not find agreeable. Maybe leftists got upset with that, or maybe rightists got upset with my comments on the American schooling system with, you know, regards to slavery. We have to go through Toledo anyways. Do we? Oh no, we don't. Interesting. So we can hold them in Toledo with an attack. And then we can encircle them, yeah. That's gonna be good. Yeah, so in regards to that, if it was the latter, I think it is unfortunate that... Oh, that's bad. Taking New York there. It's unfortunate that people have this idea that that history is somehow apolitical and devoid of connections to the current, I don't want to use the word zeitgeist because it's such a oh, they actually are infantry, but it's going to be hard to take to New York if they decide to entrench themselves there. But zeitgeist is such a word, like, with pretentious connotations. But it is true that history is not, it's not separated from what's going on in the world, and history is a politicized subject. Not because any one individual person or any recent movement has politicized history in itself. And that means that a lot of people are going to become upset when you talk about history. Because everything you say about history, every sort of like condemnation of someone or an assessment of someone or something, your view, however informed it may be, is in the end opinion. And that's not to mean that all opinions, because all opinions aren't valid. That's not to mean that all opinions on history are valid. They're backed up by, historical evidence. But in the end, they are informed opinions. And the value of those opinions, I think we need to start removing the front lines and moving people manually. But the value of those opinions, why did they leave Baltimore? That's interesting. The value of those opinions is largely like based on the evidence, and that's why I try to cite evidence from the Cornerstone speech. So hopefully, if those of you who are watching still, please look up the Cornerstone speech. Those who are watching who may have been upset or whatever, please look up the Cornerstone speech. You may find something very informative there. And apologies to those of you who are like, well, of course, Civil War was about slavery, and who are bored out of their brains by that little tangent. Man, the communists suck at fighting. It's like they completely reversal of reality, where communists were very, very good at fighting. Yeah, now motor cores are way too strong as well. Like, look at this. They're now affected by attrition as well. Oh, they're gonna take Philadelphia, though. We can't have that. Did I just not pay attention to this guy? Maybe. Well, he's attacking across the river while we're attacking him. He's going to, like, one way or another, he's going to get boned. Do we have enough ships for a... Well, we don't have enough oil. I was about to say. I was about to ask, do you have enough ships to assist with some sort of naval bombardment here or here? But I don't think any of our ships are... Maybe the cruisers are capable of it. Heavy cruisers. But I don't think it's necessarily going to make much of a... Do they have planes? Yeah, they do. It's not going to make much of a difference with... when we're so low on oil. Man... Why did they get planes? I think they may have taken all of our planes. That sucks. Because we made like a handful, I think. How many did we make? No, we haven't made any. Maybe they just got some. It's probably like Walmart bought drones or something. Like that one. Looks like you could buy that at Walmart in the US. You're not helping? In fact, no, you don't need to help. They're winning so handily, I'm gonna just send you on. Same with you. Motorized, we need you actually on the front lines, moving while we still have organization. Okay, you're going to just hold there. And they have stopped attacking, which means that I don't want to attack across the river, but I also don't want to make them move from New York. I'll support, which I'm doing by control right clicking the little battle blip there, blip, something, whatever. I don't know what the word I'm going to use for it is, but a little like pin indicating the battle. Now this is bad. We don't need to keep fighting that. I wonder if these guys have they surely don't have volunteers from the USSR, right? No, not Jeb Bush. These guys. No volunteers. And barely any troops as well. We're going to get a lot of army experience, so we're going to be able to set up those divisions that we wanted to set up. Luckily. This is essentially our Spanish Civil War. Our way of testing our troops out and modernizing our military like you would do in vanilla Hotspot 4. In Kaiserreich, this opportunity usually stems from actually, Kaiserreich is a bad example because in Kaiserreich the entire world explodes. So you have your pick of like you have a pick of many different civil wars to get involved in. Like as Germany, you can get involved in the U.S. Civil War, Spain, I'm pretty sure, right? And a handful of others, and by a handful I mean a crap ton. No, you don't leave. That's because of the front line. We need to just get rid of this. Just manually move them. That's what I usually like to do in Civil Wars anyways. And in fact, we should just activate this. Well, that was quick. The American People's Commonwealth took 5 states. Northeast Union was annexed. 7,356 equipment has been seized. 4,000 weapons. We took no planes. We got a lot of fuel. Artillery. I think this is mostly our own equipment anyways. Alright. Now what? Ethiopian Famine. Well, that definitely sucks. Set a new deployment region and let's... This is M1, right? We looked at this and I forgot. May the Best Win has been cancelled. Well, yeah, because we don't need it anymore. What happens now? Oh, we can't add the land forts. You get a bunch of free forts if you do, if you continue the war, I guess. But then that would also... I think if we allow the war to go on for too long, there's a chance that the opposite side may have had some really dangerous focus trees. Let's go for the Philadelphia Constitution, our new constitution. President Chomsky has removed totalitarian elements within our government and can work towards building an anarcho-syndicalist America with the full support of his people. A new constitution must be written so we can finally finish what we started in 1988. Yes. Now I think we should, again, put our troops on the borders. One on Canada will threaten Ottawa, I think. Ottawa and Montreal. God damn, the Canadians have so many troops. And we'll put motorized on Detroit. Motorized on... guess here. And motorized, the Midwest motorized, we'll put them on... I don't know what, probably down by the shore, right? Taking the coastline might be the best idea. Feels like it's going to be way easier terrain for the motorized to maneuver in, like down here, and potentially being able to, you know, circumvent the mountains. I don't know what the mountain range is called. Might be the Appalachians, actually. Yeah, circumvent the hilly terrain over here, and also be able to capture ports and, you know, major industrial centers. Because I believe most of the industry in the American South is like in most places, it is squarely based in cities on the coast, except for Atlanta, I guess, which is sort of inland. Now we are gaining more fuel again. Can we set up Airwings? Yes, we can. We have an Airwing of 3 planes. And we also have... wait, did we actually get event-spawned ships? I think we did. Or like our enemies got event-spawned ships. Oh my god, I can't speak. Ships. Which means that we have event-spawned ships now. And possibly planes as well. These are drones. A drone wing of 3. Wow. Very impressive. Let's have a look what's happening elsewhere in the world. Well, the government of national salvation seems to be kicking ISIL's ass, so I guess that's good. Who are these guys? Free Army of Libya. Alright. Somehow, Lebanon is still holding on. The Philadelphia Constitution. President Chomsky has just addressed an enormous crowd outside Philadelphia's Capitol building. Immediately after the signing of a new constitution for our Commonwealth, in his speech, the longtime commander-in-chief declared a new beginning for this still young nation. Proclaiming an anarcho-syndicalist federation based on its principles of the ideals of a new revolutionary central committee. Upon hearing these words, the millions gathered roared in support, preceded by an overwhelming rendition of Warsawianka, a spontaneous display of unity that has resonated across the nation. Finally, Noam Chomsky's dream of an anarcho-syndicalist America has been realized, and for the people, their Philadelphia Constitution is a beacon of hope in an ever-ominous world. Amazing. American Syndicates Convention, oh hell yeah. Now, I'm assuming we have to pick a side here, right? Worker self-management or direct democracy. No, that has to be. Those have to be no, we have to do both, right? Because you can't have an anarcho-syndicalist society without direct democracy, and you can't have an anarcho-syndicalist society without workers' self-management. Healthcare Act. Proposed by a faction within the Federation of Delegates, an American Healthcare Act will ensure the members of the legislative body, organizers, and the figurehead president are given high priority over ordinary citizens in emergency health situations. For example, if Noam Chomsky were to suffer from an injury that requires immediate transplant, the president would be placed at the top of the list above every other patient. Supporters of the bill state that it maintains stability and prevents the death of unifying figures like the president or trade union organizers. Opponents, however, label it the death of anarcho-syndicalist thought within the Federation and will bring us right back to square one in terms of social progress. After Speaker Greer publicly criticized the proposed Healthcare Act, she nevertheless called for a vote in the Federation of Delegates as soon as possible. So, yeah, this is elitist tyranny. It is sort of, if you are going to be building, now, well, actually, I need to qualify my statement. If you're going to be building an idealist or a society built on lofty ideals, you need to follow through. You need to, no half measures. if every man is equal, what? If every man is equal, as the Constitution states, or the Bill of Rights states, then you can't continue to prop up slavery for another 100 years, almost. And, yeah, like, the reason I immediately zoomed over towards Kurdistan, or the Kurdish Union State, is because the way I'm qualifying my statement is that sometimes progress is progress, and sometimes something is better than nothing. And such is the case with a state that some may have heard of on the border of Turkey and borders of Syria and Iraq. I believe it borders all three, right? Rojava. I think it's home to like 2 million people, and it's a nation that has some similarities to what I think we are building right now. Pro-democracy forces unite Libya. With Gaddafi's forces on the run, and the former despot now awaiting trial for crimes against the people of Libya, it became clear that the National Salvation Government has the upper hand in the Libyan civil war. With the other factions of the war lacking the industrial base to keep their fight going, the total victory of the National Salvation Government does not come as a shock to observers in the conflict. No, it doesn't. One by one, the other warlords fell, leaving Mohammed Magariaf as the last man standing. Mohammed, yeah, I'll pronounce it like that, probably wrong. In his first announcement to the nation, Magariaf promised to establish free and fair elections and urged patience from the Libyan populace, stating that whilst these elections will happen, it is vital that Libya has time to recover. As of now, there is no official date for the elections in Libya. However, with Gaddafi removed from power and a democratic government now leading the nation, experts are wondering if this is the start of a new Libya. What I was going to say is that in Rojava, the Kurds living there have a sort of a society that is at least inspired by writings of American anarchists like Murray Bookchin. And there's sort of some like surface level similarities to what we're doing here and what is happening there. Of course, the environment is very different in that you have, fundamentalist Islamic tribes that you have to actually deal with, while you also have, cities where women have equal rights as men and serve as soldiers, and you drink beer on Ramadan, which is not something, the latter at least, especially, is not something that's usual in that part of the world. So yeah, you can do half measures, but gotta be really, really, really careful. And in this instance, I think we should follow through fully with the ideals of the revolution. Otherwise, I think you run the risk of creating a society that is, at its core, I think, why do you have parachutes on the border? That's interesting, but you run the risk of creating a society which is, at its core, a lie, a facade. Whereas a society such as Rojava, they are, while they talk about anti-capitalism and still have a sort of hybrid capitalist system with stuff inspired by anarchism and some stuff straight up communism, they are making do with what they can. But right now we sit in the Garden of Opportunity, the northeastern American seaboard, and have the industry of an entire nation inside this little piece of an entire nation. Chomsky needs transplant. Oh! Well, you reap what you sow, I suppose. For the past 2 weeks, President Chomsky has been suffering from worsening angina attacks. I don't know what that is. Lasting for a dangerous amount of minutes, while the leader of our political revolution continuously refused any significant medical help. Chomsky was eventually convinced today. Besides, doctors stated that these were all symptoms of unstable angina, which could easily precede a fatal heart attack. Therefore, Chomsky was swiftly admitted to a local hospital. pending a transplant for vital organs. The nation is holding its breath, hoping that their longtime president makes it out of this ordeal alive and with a healthy body, but many suspect that Noam won't be living much longer. Well, it seems like we signed his life away with that bill. British Republican referendum. Oh hell yeah, dude! Balkanization of Britain. While the polls were showing a relatively close race between the two votes, the Republican camp already noticed a drastic shift in public opinion when the first results came in. An overwhelming number of Republican votes from Scotland and Wales showcased the Queen her newfound irrelevance in those. Oh, okay, never mind. It's just yeeting the Queen. But the greatest shock came in England. Besides various rural areas, even England voted overwhelmingly by almost more than 10% to abolish the monarchy. Monarchists began to realize their side was doomed, but the Republican majority celebrated all throughout the night until Prime Minister Jeremy Corbyn officially announced they had won the referendum. Jessa? What a flag. Oh, this is good. This is funny. Noam Chomsky is dead. That's less funny. Unfortunately, with the failure to pass the American Health Care Act has ensured that Chomsky would remain at the bottom of every required list, ruling a possible transplant out for the next few months, and time was not an ally of the aging president. Doctors were unable to perform an immediate surgery with the Commander-in-Chief arrived. Well, when the Commander-in-Chief arrived at their hospital, leaving the country waiting in fear. Eventually, after almost a week, a spokesperson from the hospital came to meet with tired media in the dead of night to confirm that he had suffered a fatal heart attack hours before. President Noam Chomsky has died, failing to avoid the inevitable. Had the American Health Care Act been legislated, it is almost certain that we would have received, or he would have received, the necessary medical care. Yes, Modmaker, you don't have to tell me this many times. Federation of Delegates. Yes. Let's see what happens with that. Let's see who becomes the next president of the American Commonwealth, if we ever have a new president. Which possibly might not. I don't know. But let's see in the next video. So, thank you so much for watching, and fuck. I'll have to read this. I have to, because otherwise if I save and stuff, it's gonna mess up the event, I think, and I'll almost knock my tall glass of water away. First debate of the convention. I'm sorry for this. The first debate of the American Syndicates Convention has begun. Delegates have unanimously decided that the topic discussed shall be our national flag. Okay, so we have a gold eagle on a white background, an American eagle and an American flag. We have a relatively ceremonial head of state. Well, he's dead, and the debate is well and truly in full swing. The first proposal is a signature Anarcho-Syndicalist banner of red and black. The second are the red and white stripes of our former flag and the instantly recognizable United States banner. The red and white stripes? What's the US banner? Third is similar to Chomsky's first proposal, but is defaced by the IWW's famous symbol. I don't like any of these, I don't think. Well, like, I kind of like this one. There's one really, really good one for the Combined Syndicates of America in Kaiserreich that I really like, but stripes forever, one big union, an American eagle, and an American flag. I don't know what the golden eagle is going to look like. Usually, I would prefer it if this allowed you to click one, see what it looks like, and then go back and pick another one, but I'm gonna just go for pure Anarcho-Syndicalism, which might be ugly. I mean, yeah, it's not the most beautiful of flags. I mean, it's a beautiful flag, but it's not a beautiful flag for a nation to have. It's a great symbol for a social movement, but, and that's not me. That's not me putting my support behind a specific social movement. I'm just saying the symbol is really cool. But, and its history is very interesting. That being said, thank you so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one, hopefully. I did pause this time, so no more surprise events. Goodbye.